Hey everyone, this is Mayhem Talking Markets, Tuesday, February 8th, 2022. And we're going to look at commodities today, and in particular agricultural commodities as a part of this breadbasket trade that I've been talking about since the beginning of 2022 and really in some parts of 2021 as well. We're going to start off with soy, which looks to be in a pretty constructive uptrend here. It had a nice breakout, and as that breakout continued, we saw that there was opportunities to enter in the beginning of this year during this pullback in January. And that pullback was a higher low that led to a higher high, a higher low, and a new higher high. My concern about soy is whether or not we can break above the highs from 2021. If we pull out to a weekly chart, we could see it looks like it could turn into a double top here. So we want to see a convincing breakout really above these levels here. You know, if we're looking at soy, it's an agricultural commodity that has a lot of usage in different foodstuffs, whether it's animal food, people food, or even turning into certain types of biofuels. So something to keep an eye on, though, is whether or not we see demand continue to increase. I think it's likely that we see that as we have a combination of harsh weather patterns disrupting agriculture, as well as increasing demands for different types of grain products, especially because we have more and more demand for feeding different animals that are reliant on these grains. So soy is a big agricultural feedstock, as is corn. So we're going to take a look at corn, but really for soy, again, to cap it off here, we want to break above these higher levels. I'm going to call it 1558, 1600. I'm sorry, it was not updating the number until I dragged it. So let's just call it 1600. That's a pretty even number. It's a psychologically important number. It coalesces with a previous high we had in 2013. I think if we're able to break above there, we've got some room to run to about 1778. So let's watch soy carefully here. It's at a key juncture, but so far, so good as a trade for this year. It's been a real winner. Let's take a look at corn, because corn is another breadbasket trade I've been watching that I think is really interesting. Corn, like soy, is a very commonly used feedstock. It's also it's used for pretty much everything. Like there's so many different processed food ingredients that are made out of corn, and I don't suggest eating any of them like high fructose corn syrup, but nevertheless, they're used by industry. That is a demand driver for the commodity, and therefore it's something that we have to keep track of. So we could see corn has had a pretty constructive break. 2022 gave us an opportunity to buy this double bottom on the breakout, and so that was my entry point, and that's where I have my position started. And I'm looking to potentially add more on another pullback. This gap up got me what didn't want to necessarily add into that gap up. So I'm looking for another pullback to add more to this position. But overall, this has been a good trade. It's one I've been in and out of in 2021 as well. Was looking for another opportunity to enter, and this looked like a good trade to put on in 2022 because the chart's less volatile than the stock market. Believe it or not, commodities are really the place to be. Here's a chart of our friend wheat. We all know wheat. It's used in just about everything. Some people are sensitive to it, so we've got to be mindful that there's some decreased demand because of that, but nothing that really impacts some of the other trends that are going on in agriculture. So wheat is something that has been breaking out. It looks like it's back testing that breakout. That back test so far looks pretty healthy. In 2022, it gave us a nice opportunity to buy. It gave us a nice opportunity to sell because you could see that there's this resistance area that it couldn't take out. So as soon as it started reversing lower, that was a nice sell signal. But we have pretty strong support really just around where we are and just lower than where we are. So I like wheat here, but we got to be careful. It is channeling. If you subscribe to the idea of an inverted head and shoulders, you see the potential for that playing out here. If it does, it should take us over $900 a bushel. For the quantity of wheat that we're buying for that $900, many bushels. But essentially, wheat looks constructive here. I like how it's forming this sort of longer-term series of higher highs and higher lows. The consolidation of late is a little concerning for the health of the trend, but we have not made a lower low. So right now, we're just in the sideways channel. If we take out 740 to the downside, I am going to be a little bit concerned about the health of that trend and probably exit my position. So that's charts of soy, corn, and wheat. Three opportunities in the agricultural space that are worth taking a look at as long as they remain constructive from a technical standpoint. And I would say that if you're going to be playing these as a home gamer and you're not looking at the futures market, you could always look at something like DBA, DBA is essentially just a commodity ETF. It's just agriculture. So you're just getting exposure to these things and a couple of the other grains that are commonly grown in the United States. And that can be helpful, if you don't want to be dealing with managing different positions in the futures market, right? So DBA has a pretty constructive uptrend here. I would be looking at it as a more utilitarian approach. You're getting basically a basket of commodities, however they had weighted them for you. I personally prefer to play the futures markets because it makes it a little easier for me to manage my positions, and I have a little more flexibility as to when I can do that. But for home gamers out there that just want exposure to grains, this has been a great vehicle. You can see from the spring-summer of 2021 that it's appreciated about 50% or more, actually more than that in value. So this has outperformed the market by quite a bit. So these are a couple ideas for y'all to consider. Hope everyone's doing well out there. If you haven't seen me on Twitter, you can follow me. My handle is Mayhem 4 Markets, Mayhem 4 Markets. We also have a service to help folks become better traders. It's called TraderAid.com, TraderAde.com. And we've got subscriptions. We've got informational videos to help you become a better day trader. And we've also got one-on-one coaching sessions. So if you need a hand, check us out. And until next time, this is Mayhem signing off.